Hello everyone, Ben here, and the first thing I need to do is I need to apologize for the work being done outside of my apartment that is very loud and annoying. Unfortunately, I have to record because this is the first time I've been able to today, and yeah. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get going into this episode, which we're talking about the Arizona Senate race for Jeff Flake's open seat. And, well, I guess the first thing we need to do is talk about the state's electoral history. 1982 and 1988, there was both of those elections were elections where there was an incumbent Democrat senator for the state of Arizona, and both elections they voted about 4 points more Democrat than the nation as a whole. And then in 1994. That Democrat decided to retire instead of run for another term, and it was a pickup for the Republicans, and it voted about 4 points more Republican than national Republicans did in Senate races. Then in 2000, the Democrats didn't even run a candidate in Arizona in 2000, and the Republican won 79% to a bunch of third parties picked up 7, 7, and 5 or 6. I forget exactly what the numbers were, but it was pretty much a slaughter. So I'm going to kind of discount that. But in 2006, it ran about 12 points more Republican than the nation as a whole. Though the Democrats only were 10 points off of their margins in the rest of the nation. And then this seat in 2012, which had an open, which was open. That's when Jeff Flake won his first race, and so only Senate race. It voted about 7 points more Republican than the nation as a whole, and he only won by 3, which was pretty close, but compared to the rest of the Republicans, he did much better. And that was a really competitive election, and that was because it was an open seat. And honestly, I actually think that it's going to be very competitive this year because, again, it's an open seat. And in 2016 Senate elections with John McCain, he easily won re-election 53-40, and and that was about 11 points more Republican than the nation as a whole. But he was an incumbent, so he had a little bit of a bonus there. And there was also a Green Party nominee taking some support away from the Democrat. So where I'm going to rate this is, it's hard to tell, but it should only be about maybe 5 or 6 points more Republican than the nation as a whole. And if I go with 6, that means Republicans reach 50%. And if it's 5, the Republicans are at 49% of the votes total in the election, not just in the two-party vote share. And that makes sense. It's still a Republican-leaning state. Most people would consider it a Republican-leaning state. And I honestly do. And that also indicates that the Republicans are losing ground in the state. I might give the Democrats a slight bonus if it does wind up being a 50-50 election, which it could easily be. And it depends on who the nominee is. I would love to see who it's going to be. Kelly Ward looks like the likely Republican nominee, and that might fire up the Tea Party base in the state, which would essentially seal it for the Republicans based off of my limited knowledge of Arizona politics. If any of my viewers are from Arizona, just give me a general feeling in the GOP and Democrat Party voter bases. That would be appreciated. It's really a tough race to call because it is close, and there's a reason why it's a toss-up. Number one, because it's open. Number two, because it's a year the Democrats should be favored in. And number 3, because Republicans have been losing ground in the state. That's not anything anybody should be confused about, or think is a terrible, or not. No one should be surprised, is what I'm trying to say. So where am I going to put this race? Since there's no incumbent in the race, I'm going to favor the party that is looking to gain seats, essentially, or not looking to gain seats, but is likely to pick up seats based off of the national environment. And I am giving that to the Democrats, simply because it's an open seat in a year that the Democrats should be favored in. And that's really all I have to say about the Arizona race. I don't think anybody should be surprised about this pick. I think a lot of experts would say that this makes perfect sense. Let's. I think this is a reasonable prediction. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have a nice day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.